No, not that.
Hello,
We're good.
we're good? Okay, good afternoon. I'd like to call this meeting to order. I need to share with you our evacuation procedure in the event of an emergency. I would ask we have an exit, the door that you came in, or there is a rescue window up to my right. Either or, and I ask that you do so in an orderly fashion and move away from the building. Would you now join me in the pledge to our flag? Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we move on, I just want to ask my colleagues, we have Mr. Connors has joined us, so I'm going to try to be conscious and ask all of us to be conscious to slow it down a little bit so that Tim hears everything that we're doing. And Tim, feel free to say we haven't slowed down enough or you need us to repeat something.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the first item is 1.04 to appoint the district clerk.
Move it.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Pass 700. Item 1.05,
Move it. Second.
discussion. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed and abstentions? Pass 700. And I'm turning this over now. This resolution was to appoint a temporary chairperson, which is our clerk, which is Jean Perry. Congratulations, Mrs. Perry.
Okay, each of you should have a folder with the 2 items that you need to sign today, but right now I'm just going to do a roll call. Mr. Connors?
Here.
Mr. Crandall?
Here.
Mrs. Elbegor?
Here.
Mr. Cordone?
Here.
Mrs. Griffin?
Here.
Mrs. Mainville?
Here.
And Mrs. Papalardo?
Here.
Okay, so at this time, let's go ahead and go over the oath, and I'll read it, and then if you could sign it and put it in that folder, it'd be great. I do hereby pledge and declare that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the position of Fulton City School District Board of Education member according to the best of my ability.
Thank you.
And then the school board code of ethics. As a member of the Board of Education, I will strive to improve public education, and to that end, I will attend all board meetings insofar as possible and become informed concerning the issues to be considered at those meetings. Recognize that I should endeavor to make policy decisions only after full discussion at publicly held board meetings. Render all decisions based on the available facts and independent judgment, and refuse to surrender that judgment to individuals or special interest groups. Encourage the free expression of opinion by all board members and seek systematic communications between the board and students, staff, and the elements of the community. Work with other board members to establish effective board policies and to delegate authority for the administration of the schools to the superintendent of schools. Communicate to other board members and the superintendent expressions of public reaction to board policies and school programs. Maintain familiarity with educational issues through study and participation in programs providing needed information such as those sponsored by the State and National School Board Association. Support the employment of the persons best qualified to serve as school staff, and insist on a regular and impartial evaluation of all staff. Avoid being placed in a position of conflict of interest, and refrain from using my board position for personal or partisan gain. Take no private action that will compromise the board or administration, and respect the confidentiality of information that is privileged under the applicable law. And remember always that my first and greatest concern must be the educational welfare of the students attending the public schools. So if you could sign and date that, please, and put that in your folder, that would be great. Are we all set?
Okay.
So at this time, I would ask for nominations for president, board president. Any recommendations?
Robin Griffin?
I'll second.
And vice president.
Brenda Avagor?
I'll second.
Okay, so we've taken the oaths and Office of Code of Ethics. Therefore, this board held elections for officers. The results of the election were, can I have a vote for Mrs. Griffin, please?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and for Mrs. Elbagor.
Aye.
Therefore, the board has held elections for officers. The results of the election are Mrs. Griffin, president, and Mrs. Elbagor, vice president. Be it further resolved that the oaths of office and ethics, okay, so we voted on this. And now we need a resolution or a move for the delegate, an alternative delegate for NISBA.
First of all, we need to know, and I'm not sure, I still don't know yet if it's in person or
Okay.
Remote. So, is there anyone interested in serving? I know Dave's done it for us for a number
I've
of
done
years.
it. Last year, the
Yeah.
problem was that I could only represent one board at the end
Oh, okay,
of the day, because it was virtual, and
Right.
we only had capacity for one.
okay. Are-
So,
Are you planning on
I don't know, probably for city.
For city?
Yeah.
Okay. So is anyone interested? It is a great experience. And
Yep.
David,
Yep,
he's done
yep.
it more recently than I, but it is a very great experience. It's
I've
an
done
opportunity.
it. I know.
Well, if not, then I can. I need a backup.
I can be an alternate, I just don't know if I can make the commitment for,
Well, if you're gonna be the alternate though, if something happens and I can't go, then I definitely need someone to be there.
how often are they?
It's just
It's
one
only
time.
one event.
It's
like-
one day,
yeah,
it's
a
one,
business
it's
meeting.
one day.
Oh, then
Yeah.
I'll do it, I can do it. When is it?
So do you wanna be?
I'll be the voting delegate, yes.
Oh, all right,
Yeah.
okay, that's great.
I'm sorry, I didn't know
think
what kind of commitment it was.
That's fine, and I'm glad you asked. I think you'll
It's
really
for the
enjoy it.
convention that it's in
Yeah.
Syracuse.
Late October.
It's like, it's like.
Oh, yeah.
And that's usually Saturday morning, right?
It has been.
Unless,
they-
but they did the remote last year, and I think that
the
was
weekend,
Monday.
Yeah.
It was a
Oh,
Monday.
Monday it was.
That's right, if
Yeah.
it was remote.
Yeah.
So you go ahead and you do it, and I can be the backup?
Okay,
And then if it's remote and you can't be, if it's on a work day, then,
okay.
all right? Sounds good.
Did you have a first and a second?
Excuse me?
Did you have a first and second? for
No,
that
we need to
resolution?
do that. So we need a move and a second for this 109 resolution.
Move it.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed and abstentions? Passed 700. Thank you. I wondered if you would like to batch items 1.10 through 1.27.
Move it.
Second.
Any discussion on any of those items? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Passed 700. So. Item 1.28.
Move it.
Second.
And this is to authorize authority for the issuance of revenue anticipation or tax anticipation notes. And this is a roll call vote. Mrs. Perry?
Mrs. Alvagor,
Yes.
Mr. Connors,
Yes.
Mr. Cordone,
Yes.
Mr. Crandall,
Yes.
Mrs. Griffin,
Yes,
Mrs. Mainville,
Yes.
and Mrs. Papalardo.
Yes.
thank you. I'm wondering if you would like to batch items 1.29 through 1.32.
Move it.
Second.
Any discussion on any of those items?
Yeah, just one question.
Sure.
Regarding 1.30 building use fees, how do we communicate an increase? Because I imagine there is, I know last year there was a question mid-year that I had received from the the speed demons who use
So
the pool?
we're gonna be setting up a time with them to actually go through things
Okay,
with them, and any other organizations from outside that should work, but any that we've had more of a long-term relationships, of which there are very
Right.
few, we will reach out to them personally.
Could
And
we,
have that
could we
discussion.
just put on, just make a notice that there's been a change, and if people, anybody interested should note that change, go on our website to,
Yeah.
see the change?
And as of tomorrow or later today, it'll be on there as the change.
Yeah, okay, yeah, okay, great. Okay, if there's no other discussion, all those in favor? Aye, opposed, and abstentions. Pass 700. Would you like to batch items 2.01 through 2.07?
Move it.
second.
Is there any discussion on any of those items? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And abstentions? Pass 700. Item 3.01,
Move it.
Second.
any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And abstentions? Pass 700. And item 4.01, to adjourn this meeting.
Move it.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed and abstentions? Pass 700.
God, I'm tired.
Welcome officially aboard, Mr. Connors.
Congratulations.
I'm laughing, I think it took me longer to read the agenda than.
That's really how it's supposed to work. Not all meetings will be this quick. Don't get used to it.
That's just-